Greetings everybody, Amar here, and today I'm going to do a Singapore update. This is for the Thursday draw. Today is May 4th, so Thursday would be coming up. And I'm going to focus on spread, filter of last digits, all last digits after the filter has been run, some wheel tips, and 4BA. So to start the spread, I usually talk about the Fibonacci spread, and that has to do just from the first number to the last number, or the first number to the fourth number. Now this is a pick six, so it would be considered still the first to the fourth number or the first to the fifth number. Now Fibonacci is just a general spread that I came up with. You can look at the gaps. They give you the distribution, so it's based on mathematics still as well. And Fibonacci really is the only basic simple math. So we have here, so it's a filter. So you can use any kind of filter. So another filter would be, let's say, to only play numbers from 1 to 39. Now if you look at this particular draw here, the highest number was 38. And the bonus also was in that range from 1 to 38. And then you had over here again, the highest number was 29. The bonus is also within that range. You have here 35, 39 is within that range. And then over here too. So it's just a filtering mechanism. Now the problem is that when you have, now here you had 3 40s, here's a 40, here's a 40, 40, 2 40s. So if you did still stick with that strategy from 1 to 39, you'd have had more numbers within this range of here from 1 to 39 to hit something, or from here from 1 to 20. So it's been 7 drawings, I believe. So the last time it was the highest number was in the 30s. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drawings. So it skipped 7. That's how many drawings are missing. So when I do the Fibonacci, it's usually from either the first position or the second position or the fifth position repeating. Now the second position is my favorite. Then it would be the first, and then the fifth would be last. And I mean, if you just focus on the first and second, you should be able to increase your wins. Now, of course, though, the positions repeating go into dormant periods. So that's where the danger comes in, and that's later when I make the ice pyramids for the positional repeater chart. But since it's easier right now to just run filters in Adv Gold, and then just, because I don't want to do double work. So the filters I'm going to run here are going to be last digit. But getting back to the repeating phenomena, so for instance here, the 12 repeated. So that's the first position, and then the 19 repeated too. So the first position and the second position both repeated together. I've played many lines like that, where you have the first position to repeat, the second position to repeat, and then the other numbers would probably be like a skip 1 or a couple of adjacents. I'll mix and match the adjacents. So if I do, it would be a 2-power number wheel, first position, second position to repeat, and then I would look at symmetry of skips, and usually it'll be adjacents off like the 5th number or the 4th number or the 3rd number. So if you have here so the first number repeated, so here's the 12. So if you do the Fibonacci, that brings you 22, 32, 33. So it's approximately, you would have 4 numbers within the Fibonacci range, and then you would have to use your own discernment whether or not you want to expand the range. Now, I generally expand it to 24. So this 35 would have been a, let me see what, 23. It would have been a range of 23, and then of course, then you wouldn't have gotten the 43 generally. Now the 43, you might have played it if it was adjacent here, or you would look and see if it's a small skip. We don't know what the skip is here, but you would have had 4 numbers within the Fibonacci spread. So spread is the spread from the first number to the last number. Even though my Fibonacci spread was not a jackpot strategy, it was a strategy to trap a 4-number win. That was what it was designed for. And then, once you get the 4-number win, then you can certainly play with house money. You feel a little bit more comfortable. Sometimes, unfortunately, you might feel a little too cocky, but that's something that, you know, each person has to work on their own emotions. Now here, in this particular instance, you had the first number repeated here, and so using Fibonacci would bring you to 22, 23. So here you can see that there's only 3 numbers within that range, and then you might do 35 because here it's a one day skip, or 37 is, we don't know what it is, or you could do, let's see, well, you could say, all right, you would do skip 1 and then gap 1, you know. So these are all the logical things that go through my head when I'm designing my lines. So in this particular instance, you had the 44 repeated. This is the 5th position. So then you would go do the same thing. You would subtract. So it would go 44, 32, 22, and then you know, if you stretch it, you'd have 3 numbers within that spread. But you know, but if you had done the opposite filter from 1 to 39, you'd have had all the numbers in here. So that's just a little bit. That's just a little bit about spread. I'll show that more when I get the Excel charts up and running. I have to locate them and have to modify them. So there's a little bit of work involved, and I'm not even sure where they are. So I know it's an old Texas Lotto chart that I was using when I was playing Texas Lotto. I have some winning tickets for that. Maybe I'll show that one day. But right now I have to adapt it. And I'm just going to adapt the core patterns first. And whatever I can do in gold, I'll do in gold. So that's a little bit about the spread. Now we're going to run the filter. Oh, but before we run the filter, we're going to see where we got the idea for the filter. So the idea for the filter came from the 4B. So the 4B is over here. Now this 4B, I printed out. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't print it out. I snipped it in 2 parts. And you can see here, this is the game, Singapore 649. Here's the data, and here's the range. Now I do a range of 180 generally because that way I can bypass chart 7. I can see what's hot and what's cold by the just amount of hits that have occurred. So this number here, you can see it has a lot less hits than this number here. So this number here, I believe, is the 36. So 36 is one of the hottest numbers, and you can see this huge streak here and all of these skip 7s. Now this we don't know if it's a skip 7 because you don't really know what was going on here. But you had this 7, 7, 7, all these 7s. So every time you got near a skip 7, you might say, all right, let me play it, you know. So that's the 36, I believe. So yeah, the 36 here was plus 12. And so this cold number here is a 39, currently at skip 25 over here. Now, I only did up to 44 out of simplicity because then I would have to take another snipping. And you could consider a filter from 1 to just 44 also. That's certainly, you know, not a bad idea. Now, when I was playing, whenever I play large games, even Mega Millions, New York Lotto, which is a 6 of 59, sometimes I would filter from 1 to 39, and I would try to time when that other group did not come out. That's what the whole science of the 10-game group is you know, revolves around. And so what I did also here is I exported a little bit of the 4B, and I entered in this column here. So this 12 is this plus 12 here. Now what this means is that this is the number of hits. So for the one, for example, is plus 3. So meaning it's 3 above the average within the last 180 games, which is the range that I'm currently working with. So basically I just put all the numbers that were here in here, and then I conditionally formatted so I can see the cold numbers better. So here's a cold number here, it's blue, and the hot numbers are red. So the number 6 here is -8, so it's 8 below average. Now if you look at the number 6 here in regards to dormant periods, we don't really know how many dormant periods this is. It's because this 7 here is cut off in the 180 game range. So this could be any number, really. So not, we'll just disregard this for now. So let's assume this was a streak. So you have 1 dormant period, 2 dormant, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you had 7 dormant periods before you had this short streak here, and now you're back at skip number 19. Now I put number 6 as a selection because 19 is symmetrical here to the 18. All right, and the 4 I put because the 6 is symmetrical here to the 8. Now, the number though that I really was focusing on also was the number 18 because it was very cold. And the 18 is over here. It's -9. It's -9 average in this time frame. So you have here a small streak here. This is a small streak. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. So, or rather 6 dormant periods, I'm sorry, 6 dormant periods. And now we're looking for a possible trend reversal here. So I ran the last digit filters for the 18. I'm going to do that in a second. But I'm just going to continue with this Fibonacci spread from the 6. So I was using this 6 as the starting point, thinking that this 6 might have a trend reversal eventually. And so I'm considering this 4-6 for 3 draws. Okay, so for Thursday, for Monday, and for Thursday. And the reasoning is this, is because if this 4 doesn't hit at skip 6 in 2 draws, it'll now be 8-8 symmetry here, right? And you'll have a little bit of support here, 8-10, and also 8-8. So, but basically it was the 8-8 symmetry that I was looking at. And then here in 2 draws, this will be skip 21 if it doesn't hit. Now the 19 is symmetrical to the 22. So in 2 draws, it'll be 21. And also the 19 here is symmetrical to the 18. So you have the 18 here. But in 2 draws, it'll be 21. And then 21 will be symmetrical to the 22 here, right? So you still have the symmetry. And then the 24 would be the area where I'm considering to start dropping the 6. Because you see it has a skip of 32. And I found it's a bad habit to start chasing long shots because, like Gail says, you can go into an exhaustion break, and basically the only thing that you exhaust is really your money. So that was the 4-6, and this is a gap 1. And you can see here the 4 is a +3. It's been pretty hot for a while, and hasn't had a lot of dormant periods. So if we do Fibonacci, that brings you to 24, 25. Okay. Now this in the middle here was the 18 for the trend reversal, and this 19 is an adjacent. It was considered as an adjacent, right? And because the 18 just hit. So this was an adjacent. You had a 16 as an adjacent off the 17. And the other one I did off of this 15 that just hit, it was a 13, 14 adjacent. So that's why I added those as suggestions for the wheel. And then if you go to Fibonacci, this would be 20. So this is a skip 13. And 13... There's a little symmetry back here, but this would be the most riskiest one here because it's a -5. But this 25, you can see here, is pretty hot. It's +2. It says a 2-5 upstroke, and then the 5, you're gonna watch it as it approaches symmetry here to this 8. Okay, if this doesn't hit, then you're gonna watch it as it gets to the 8. And the 27 here is +4, and it's got a big streak here. So that's almost a no-brainer. And then certainly you could consider the 28, but I put the 29 also here because it's 2 dormant periods. 1 dormant period, 2 dormant periods, had a long streak here and a long streak here. So that's the logic that I use behind the Fibonacci. And then you could always, it's up to you. You have to use your own discernment in regards to when you're going to break general rules. That was a general rule for me. I recommend it. I can't make you do it, but I found that it's what's kept me in the game because you're able to trap the smaller wins. Now here, and in my take 5, a 4 number paid decent. It could pay up to $800. Now unfortunately, I never even once had a 4-number win that was over the tax bracket amount, which is really insane if I think about it. And I never even once got a 4-number off of a free play, but I did, it did pay well. Sometimes, maybe 450, a lot of times, 300, which is better than what my current stake pays in Pennsylvania. So if you're going to break the Fibonacci, you would break it, let's say, with the number 36, because the 36 is a super hot number, 2 dormant periods, and here is a whole bunch of, long streak. So that's that basically with the 4B. So I started to filter with the, where is it, number 18. So we're going to run it right now. Now, these charts that I'm going to look at, I filter these in Excel, but I figure it would just be easier to do it with the gold, and so let's run it. So basically, on the main menu here, and you can see here, this is the game at the top, Singapore total, 649. And then you have here, it tells you the number of records, and this is the range that I was using. So I had this range here, the 180 range. I forgot to switch it here, but I noticed it, and that's why it's good. That's why I like to take the whole snipping, so you can see the game and the range, and you know that I haven't made any mistakes, and I know that I haven't made any mistakes. So this is the main page. When you're in this blank white space here, you right-click. When you right-click, this menu comes up, and this menu here I use to it's a filter of sorts. So you go to Find Lotto Numbers, right, with the binoculars. So you click on Find Lotto Numbers, and then what pops up is this menu here. So this is here, says Find Lotto Numbers, and so what I did was I selected 8, 18, 28, 38, 48, and then you click the down arrow here to make sure that it says 2. Now you can change it as you like, but I default do by 2 first. And when you hit the down arrow, this autofills here. And if you look at the range here, still the last 180. And then, and so after you hit the 2, then you click on Hit With. Now here you can see it says include bonus numbers. I don't like to include bonus numbers by default. I try to keep it simplified. When I did New York, it was also 659 with a bonus. I wouldn't use the bonus, and sometimes also I would use the filter from 1 to 39. I would just focus on those numbers, and I was able to get 3 numbers, 3 of 6 in one line quite often just by doing that. Of course, my filter running skills are much better now, and now I'm running macros. I wasn't doing macros back then. I don't think I knew what they were. So I don't include the bonus numbers by default. Now you can do what you want to do. It's up to you. But I don't like it. I don't want to be bothered with the extra complexity. After all, it's just a bonus number, and I don't know how you're going to wheel. So anyway, you hit with, and then what comes up. Okay, it looks like I'm getting a not responding message, which is quite annoying, but let's see. Hopefully it doesn't crash on me. So I'm just going to go to the next thing, and then I'll probably stop the video and do a separate whole run. Well, let's see. Let's keep on going. All right, so then when you hit the hits with graph here, hits with 80s drawing. Actually, I'm going to stop it. I don't want to take the chance. I'm going to rerun it because I don't want to lose this. I'm going to rerun the filter. It'll start. All right. So this will be part 1. Stay tuned.